Welcome to another episode of Driving to the Res with your favorite hosts,
Inelia
and Larry.
Yay! Wow.
Almost like a pro's at it now.
I know. That sounded totally pro.
It totally sounded like done proper.
Yes.
The only thing we're missing now is one tiny little thing, honey.
What?
I keep asking for it.
What?
We need a jingle.
We do need a jingle, yes. We're working on a Native American jingle.
Are we going to have flutes in it, or is it going to be boom, 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 drums, or is it going to be that kind of singing? All right. Well,
He's a God for me.
That's the Pieta song.
I'm looking at him. It's funny because a lot of people, because usually in different languages they think it's
some other words,
spiritual whatevers, but it's usually the same.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
And I like him a lot. She's the prettiest thing I ever seen. Yeah. I want to hang out with her forever.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Yeah.
It's funny.
It is quite funny. So you're working on a jingle?
Yeah, we're working on a jingle.
Some of my favorite podcasts have really good jingles to
start.
I
know. Yeah.
And remember on the Higher Side Chats, he has like a whole song.
Yeah,
it's like a parody of another song. I kind of like that. But I mean, I don't want to have one of those for us.
No, I don't think we're musicianly enough to do one of those every week.
Oh, but actually.
What?
Something's coming on March 4th. What is that?
That's my birthday.
Your birthday's March 4th.
Yes.
Tell me about March 4th. What does that even mean, March 4th?
Go forward, man.
Go forward.
March 4th.
Where did March 4th come from? Or you just think that's a... is that a saying?
March 4th?
Yeah.
Continue forward.
Move forward.
Don't stop.
Well, at the very least, it's an easy way to remember your birthday.
Oh, yes.
March 4th. Oh, don't they have March 4th, Christian Soldiers, something like that? Is that a song?
I have no idea.
I think it probably is.
Yeah. I didn't have that education.
Well, I didn't either, but I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere.
Yeah. It feels like we haven't...
March 4th. Well, March 4th is your birthday, and I'm just saying if you have the inkling that you want to send Inelia a little gift. Occasionally she likes small gifts. She has been known to enjoy those things in the mail once in a while.
Yeah.
Feel free.
High frequency, beautiful
gifts for March 4th.
There you go.
Happy birthday, honey.
Thank you, darling.
Love you.
Love you too. It feels like we haven't actually recorded a podcast for about a year.
Yeah, that is.
Like we've been in and out of reality so long.
Our water was destructured for a little while.
Yeah.
Destructured water. So, that was something we talked about on our second hour last week.
We did.
A little bit about getting sick. And, the whole word getting sick.
Yeah.
And then the whole narrative that follows, what does that mean, getting sick?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole narrative that follows, how did you get sick?
And how do you heal?
And then the narrative that follows is, what cures it?
Yeah.
So it was a lot about the narratives. We experience a thing, and then we have a story that goes with it.
Indeed.
And the story that goes with it is, well, oftentimes false.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think in the word false is probably the wrong word. I think that the better word is to describe it as optionally accurate.
Optionally accurate.
Right. You have the option to keep it as accurate, right?
Yeah.
So the life that you want to have includes a thing like separation, or the life you want to have has a thing like someone else has power over me.
Yeah.
Or the life you want to have is I'm a victim of X, Y, Z. So if you want to carry on with those things, then some of these optional stories are like written into the script.
Yes.
You're born and you get a little older and then you start to become aware of things around you, and then people tell you this is how it is, and then you just believe it.
Yeah.
And then you just carry on with that belief forever, Until one day you're walking along, you stub your toe, you go, ouch. And then down on the ground is your iPhone. You pick it up and it has your interview on it, maybe. And then you look, it's like, who's that? You listen to it. And then your mind goes boom. And it blows up all these little things that are just like landmines of reality that you thought were solid and they're not.
Yeah, it happens.
It does happen. Yeah. So one of the side effects of having your mind exploded is a little bit of unsettling.
Yeah,
have you noticed that
a lot of the information that you took for granted, suddenly it isn't.
Yeah, the very foundations of your reality are a little bit less solid than you absolutely less solid than you thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even the things that you think were maybe a little bit, maybe there's Santa Claus, maybe it might be misrepresented a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even those things are, I don't even remember when, I don't know if I can actually talk about this with you because you still believe there's Santa Claus. And he comes down.
What do you mean you still believe there's Santa Claus?
I know, exactly. You still know there's Santa Claus. Sorry, honey.
I do know there's Santa Claus. Of course Santa Claus exists.
What about, we got to go down the list so I can find one that I can talk about. Have you ever heard of the Tooth Fairy?
Best friends, man.
Oh no. Have you ever heard of Cupid?
Yes.
So is that a real little cherub flying around with a little bow and arrow?
He doesn't look like a cherub.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so we'll skip that one. How about this?
And there's only not just one.
How do you feel about bunnies and eggs? Hard-boiled eggs with color on them.
Oh,
do you think bunnies poop out colored eggs?
No, they don't.
How about chocolate eggs?
Depends on the bunny.
Oh, yes. It looks like chocolate, but don't eat it.
Don't eat it.
No, honey, it's not chocolate.
No.
Okay, so Easter Bunny. Mm-hmm. We know when we talk about the Easter Bunny that it's a little bit make-believe, hoppity,
mm-hmm.
and big bunny rabbits and chocolate eggs and yummy stuff like that. So it's when we start to enter into our spiritual journey in a sense of becoming more aware of the basis for some of the things that we accepted maybe as children as real. We think like Easter and then Ishtar, and then you find long history of a story, and the story has branched off over the years, and then somehow or other it ended up where it is today, but some of the origins of it are barely even resembling the ones that you're using today. Mm-hmm. Like Easter is a good example. I think that has to do with Jesus getting reborn or something. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't know anything about the Christian Easter.
Right. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that as you start destabilizing,
mm-hmm.
you begin sometimes to feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And your discomfort is a consequence of destabilization of reality.
Mm.
So the tendency is to want to restabilize.
Yes, I have seen that many times.
So restabilization of reality. One of the things that happened over this last couple of weeks when our water was dissolving all of our toxins out of our body, and
mm-hmm.
as a consequence of our water dissolving, we felt very sore, so we couldn't really move too much because our joint water, was melted. Mm-hmm. So our joints were touching our joints, and it makes it hard to move.
Yeah.
And our water level in our body was very, very depleted, very, very, very dehydrated. So all of the things that happen when you're dehydrated, we were experiencing like a headache.
Yes.
Your head hurts when you're dehydrated. Your tongue hurts. You're just uncomfortable. You're not hungry because you don't have enough water to digest your food.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want no food. Things like this are going on. Why am I talking about that?
Destructuring, you said.
Right.
And the narrative of what is it?
Yeah, our destruction narrative, our reality in that is that we caught a bug, and in order to get better, we have to clean everything, get rid of the bugs.
Oh, yeah.
And the germs.
Yeah.
And we need to take medicine that kills the bugs.
Bugs, yeah.
And the overpopulation of the bugs is what's making us sick, and we caught it from somebody else.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how many times you say that it's not actually real. People still oh, I caught the bug and I don't want for you to catch it again. It's like, I don't understand. I mean, we've spoken about this for so many times now.
Well, it's foundational, honey. That's kind of the point, is that when I noticed that...
It's like the Easter Bunny?
It's like the Easter Bunny, yeah. I was like, oh, I don't believe in all that stuff. And then Easter comes around. Oh, look, the bunny pooping eggs. It's awesome. Let's have Easter. It's kind of like a...
It's really difficult to step out of one massive paradigm or matrix of belief for the human collective of what is sickness and what causes it and all these type of things, and step into a different one that is actually so radically different that nothing that we do in modern medicine makes sense anymore.
Right. It's like you have to throw away so much in order to accept a different version of real, that it's so uncomfortable that you'll prefer to keep the fiction.
Yes.
Because it served you well enough. Right? And it was a foundational well enough. So the narrative around sickness, that's just one of those foundational ones. There's a lot of them.
Yes.
And I noticed, like I was saying before, when you stub your toe and you go down, you pick up your phone, and there you are talking maybe in an interview or something, and you say something like, there are no viruses, or you'll say something like, you're an eternal divine being having an experience, and there's no such thing as a evolution of your soul, because your soul is, well, whatever. Yeah. It's like you might be immersed in a little game of evolution because you find it entertaining, but that's it.
Yeah.
So there's no meaning and big meaning to the spiritual blah blah whatever, right? Those kind of things, when you say those things, makes people uncomfortable, honey.
Yes, it does. I think so.
Some people, on the other hand, it doesn't make them uncomfortable. It makes them, or it gives them a sense of relief that, oh, reality is malleable and optional, and the experiences I have are up to me.
Yeah.
How up to me are these realities?
Yeah.
If I drop the Easter bunny, can I pick up a different bunny? Can I have 5 bunnies? 5 bunny holidays if I want? I just have to talk the rest of the people around me into joining? Yes? No? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's like I think I'm understanding what you're saying, I think that a lot of people who are very young, like 1 or 2 years old, or 3, 4, 5 years old, even like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, they do think that the Easter Bunny is real. And that it brings them chocolate eggs every year and hides them all over the house. And it's quite fun, And that reality is constructed by the adults. The adults, the night before, you go around the house hiding eggs and stuff like that. Leaving clues everywhere for them to find them. And at some point, they figure it out and they move on. And they can still have the game of hide the eggs and find them, or just drop it all together and,
Just have egg sandwiches.
Yeah, have egg sandwiches or paint the eggs for the younger children.
Yeah, oftentimes I see that we just carry it on by telling the story with our kids, or with our kids' kids, or with our kids' kids', and we just keep the thing going by, picking up the next gullible beast.
The period of time on society that we are in at the moment is a split. So there's a whole percentage of people who want to continue with the Easter Bunny being real. And another part, and another part of it, of the society, has grown so far away from Easter Bunny being real that it's not even part of the equation anymore. So with regards to health, that is like a massive, massive split. And it's not like the information about what health really is and how to deal with things that make us sick. Even the words "make us sick" need to be redefined and everything. And once people understand the nature of feeling unwell, even things like cancer, diabetes, and heart attacks, and all these type of things, when people start really understanding the nature of what causes these things, then there will be full health on the planet. And individuals could continue with the narrative of what we are being taught in school about what sickness is and cures and everything like that. That is also a narrative that will remove a large section of the population out of the planet. Because that is literally a path to death.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about these things, or at least we talked about the plans that the promoters of darkness on the planet have had or do have for the entire planet for 2022. We talked about that on our looking at 2022 video.
Yeah, we did.
And these plans, some of the things catch and some of those things don't catch for the human collective. And so far, the plans have been very clear and followed through really, really well. And the whole aspect of health, it doesn't just involve the singular person and what they do, but also the person as a human collective. So things like, we talked about on the second hour last week about, the environmental factors of toxicity, like microwaves and radio waves and TV waves and 5G waves and all sorts of other waves that are being used that are actually toxic to the human person and to animals and trees and everything else. And how us as humans are pretty good at detoxifying day to day. Our physical bodies are amazing.
Yeah, when they sleep mostly, huh?
Yeah. So it only takes a little bit of support to get your body going strong and healthy throughout all these toxicities. And other types of toxicity, of course, that are very, very harmful for the human health are things such as fear. It's a massive, massive toxin. Sadness, fear, anger, all these are very toxic. That's why, for example, when a person gets extremely sad, they cry. Because when they cry, the water that comes out of their eyes is releasing a lot of the toxins that the body creates when you're sad or angry or frustrated. That's why people often cry when they feel those things. And people who suppress that cry, those toxins don't leave their body. They stay in their body. Oftentimes, you know that you're ingesting too many toxins, like, for example, refined sugar or artificial colors and things like that.
Or glyphosates.
Yeah. You know that you can tell that you're ingesting too many because when you go to bed at night, then you sweat like crazy, because that's a way of the body to get rid of those toxins. They're getting rid of toxins through sweat. So these are the type of things that you can look at to see, how is my body coping? Should I, have a look at what I'm ingesting, not just through like sugar or whatever, but also sadness, fear, pollution, psychic pollution, and yes, things like 5Gs and 4Gs and 3Gs and 2Gs and 1Gs and microwaves and all these things, actually, how much of that am I ingesting every day and what to do about it, right? What do I do to support my body through this? And I can assure you, just like we talked about, and the other thing that we were going to go into today, some of these toxins are spread around the world to eliminate people. Mm-hmm. And some of the excuses they're going to use, like, we know about, we talked about on the second hour quite a lot more about it, but the jabs and what they can do to the physical body elemental. but also the fear mongering and what that can do. If you stack it up, toxin after toxin after toxin, you're going to have large masses of people exiting the planet through their bodies not being able to cope with the toxins, not being able to shed in a healthy way all that stuff that's in their body, and they, the forces that promote low frequency experiences on the planet do have a script, right? They have a script.
They have a script.
We talked a little bit about that script. We talked about they possibly might use the ET equation. They might possibly use several wars to get numbers hidden, but also to actually eliminate people, right?
Yeah, we should probably get into detail on that in the second hour.
Yeah.
We can get into some detail on that on the second hour.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say that everything that you see is designed to engage you in a light-dark reel or a light reel.
Yeah.
It's either designed to engage you in more toxins or, I guess, less.
Less toxins, yeah.
Less toxins. And somehow or other, it's like avoidance and Pollyanna reality where, you walk down the street pretending like nothing's happening, but there is stuff happening where you are.
Yeah. That
isn't the same as being a light or choosing a light. That's
denial.
That's like denial. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, the world's collapsing around me, but in my little spot, I got a pillow. I'm fine. Yeah. For 5 minutes or so, you'll be fine until the house burns down around you, in which case your pillow's not going to be so helpful. You might want to tap into, which is kind of one of the things, tap into a bit of your higher self.
Yes. So that is, one of the things that we talk a lot about in the Instant Manifestation Workshop. And you can go to ibenzacademy.com to get that. But also in all the tools that I teach, right? In IneliaBenz.com and Walk With Me Now, it's like, this is the information, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you being able to dictate your narrative, to become the author of what's happening to you and your life without that denial thing, right? Like closing your eyes.
Close your eyes and pretend nothing's happening. So nothing's happening.
It's a very, very different energy between the two. It's
totally
a very
different.
radically different energy between those two. Between, I'm in denial and I'm going to ignore everything and I'm going to life is wonderful and I've got this sentence I'm going to use every day.
I am beautiful.
Yeah.
Like my song.
Yeah.
I am. Whatever I am. Yeah. It's a good song though.
Between that and actually being actively conscious and aware and choosing your narrative. And that's when you become the authority of your life, the author of
choosing
your
your narrative in alignment with your higher self.
Exactly.
Not like closing your eyes and tapping and sucking yourself down to a tiny little point of awareness so that you can pretend to ignore your higher self and just pretend everything's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not really what you're here to... Not you who are listening. That's not what you're here for.
No, because you will know when you're pretending.
Yeah.
And pretending is a lie. And
Totally.
that lie denies what you're aiming to create.
One of the examples I like to use, the story of our manifesting our house on the hill right now, was, we've been working on house manifestation process for quite a few years.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes, honestly.
And we got clear guidances many times.
Yes.
But we decide whether we... how can we, turn that guidance into what we want. Is it still now all right? So like, for example, do not build your house on your lot yet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about a trailer? how about a shed?
A shed.
Can we have a shed on our land? Is a shed okay?
Yeah.
Sure, a shed's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a shed now. Oh, we got a plug-in, honey. We need a trailer. A little trailer is okay? Yeah, a little trailer's okay. So if I put a little trailer here, do I get my water? Do I get my... No. Oh, so I have to have a real big trailer that has you don't move it very much. Will that work?
Yes.
Well, yes, for the tribe guy, he says, yeah, if you put skirts on it, you can have that, and then you can have some sewer. Oh my God, it was like to the day before we pull it on, you know?
Yeah.
But the guidance, which we got and we heard, was no, you need to wait. It was pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
We got it. We still tried to maneuver around it. I don't know why. I think it's our nature.
I think so. We're stubborn.
We're a bit stubborn. But, I mean, we got it, tapped in, hear it, and then tried to slip one by. I guess that was kind of what we're trying to do. And we have a beautiful place there.
We do. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, but it's not time for us to build there yet.
Not yet.
No, we've been told that and we understand that. And we did actually just listen. We just stopped and listened.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a high five. Yeah, good job. Then we did receive guidance about Shaman Shack, remember?
We did.
When we were first looking for our house then, you had clear guidance. Let's go to halfway to Port Angeles and look at the houses that are there and go look at the blue one.
Yeah.
And don't buy it.
Don't buy it. You
just look at it.
You just need to look at it.
Okay. So we went and we walked in there, we looked at it, and we're like, this is a very odd house.
Yes.
We should buy it.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did too. We did too. Okay, that's right. The first time we didn't.
No, we didn't at all.
We walked in there, we looked at it, and said, wow, this is a very strange house.
There's half of it is a massive room, and the rest is like smaller rooms.
Small little bedrooms.
Larry, it's an event house.
That's exactly what you got. You got, I see. We need to look for an event house.
Yes.
An event center house.
Yes. That's what we need to look for.
That's what we need to look for.
I understand. All right. So we walked away. A few months later, we were so tired of looking for this event house in real life.
Right. We decided,
you know what? We're going to buy it. I mean, that house had been for sale for 2-3 years. Nobody wanted it because it's such a weird house.
It was a special order that the person decided not to get.
Yeah.
Because it's just too weird.
So
impractical in some ways.
We decided, okay, we'll just buy it.
We'll just buy that one and put it where we're not supposed to build something.
Yes.
Because we're not building.
No.
It's already built. Yeah.
So we went to get it.
It was sold.
It sold that morning.
That morning.
And the woman even said, I don't know. It's strange. This person came in this morning just to buy it and paid cash. And it was so strange. She's been here for 3 years. When I asked him what he liked about it, he said, I don't know. I just know I have to buy it.
So we really should be more careful about listening to our guidance. Think of that poor fella has to buy a house that's totally impractical for him.
Yeah.
That morning. For cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, the gist of it is, you get the guidance and you follow it and you get tired and then you go test it. And, that's part of the human existence. We are humans on a planet right now.
Yeah.
So, fast forward a little bit later, I bring Grace home to her friend's house or something, and we found the Shaman Shack right next door where Grace's friend lived.
Yes.
For sale.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it blew my mind that you thought it was fantastic, because I thought it was affordable.
Affordable, but that'd be so rubbish.
I thought it was affordable, but my oh my, this is going to be a bit of work.
Yeah.
But when we walked inside, it was event house. It was the same as that blue house, except for
it's a big room and the rest are the small rooms.
Yeah. So it ended up being exactly what we were guided to get, and the seeds, I guess, that were planted in that higher self-awareness moment and that collect the data moment. Those seeds were there. We knew to say yes.
Yes.
And when a yes was in alignment with actually what I guess the guidance was for, man, it was done in 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah. So next, fast forward some more time, we were looking at the crazy house on the hill.
Oh, yes.
Because as we are wont to do, we have Onyx Hunt, or we have the little app, and when things come for sale, you go like, oh, look at that. Let's go see it. Yeah. Because we like kicking the tires and looking at Lewin. And in this case, we looked at the crazy house and we wanted it, and we didn't at the same time.
I wanted it, you didn't.
Well, I did see the amount of level of work that we did on the Shaman Shack times 10.
Yeah.
And then still.
And the amount of mold and the mountains of bat poop and other poops. It was bad. I mean, even I say, okay, you're right.
This one we might have to just burn it down to start over. Yeah. But the whole beauty of it was the craziness of it. And so you don't want to get rid of it. because it was so cool, crazy. It's like, imagine a Dr. Seuss house. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's like you have inside is outside and balconies on the inside overlooking like the fireplace, which is in a pit. And no rails.
I know.
If you woke up in the middle of the night and took the wrong step, you're 20 foot down until you hit the ground. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the kitchen had a wagon wheel for the main centerpiece. Yeah. I mean, a real old wagon wheel, the genuine, and all the pots and pans hang from it right in the middle of the kitchen.
I mean, it's magical. It's beautiful. It's crazy. It's not really practical. It doesn't actually it's not conducive for peaceful living, I don't think.
The shingles that goes on the outside are on the inside walls.
Yes. Yeah.
And the trees that make up the lumber are still the trees stuck into the ground, stuck up through and nailed onto them. So they're like, the trees are inside, and it's cool, but it's also strange. Yeah.
So we said no to that one, but we told the story about how we got the second one.
Right. Well, there was the guidance, though. That's the part that I want to get at. You had very, very clear guidance, and it was very clear what you needed to do.
Yes.
And at the same time, I had resistances.
Yes.
Your guidance was clear, and my guidance was I wasn't tapping into any of that. I was just resisting.
Yep. You're just saying no. You're being contrary.
Yeah, right. Contrary, Larry.
Yes.
So I acknowledge sometimes I am a bit contrary.
Yes.
It's part of what makes my reality firm.
Yes.
It doesn't change it too much. Keeps it steady.
Uh-huh.
Steady's comfortable.
Uh-huh.
Uncomfortable is when it's unsteady. Uh-huh. Anyways, your guidance was very clear. Write this letter, do this thing, put this stamp, get this kind of paper, write it by hand, and send it to the owner, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you followed that guidance.
I did. I mean, I resisted, but I got to a moment in a day that said, you have to send it now, this window's closing. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I'll just do it. So I did.
Right. And as a consequence of that, it made it a little bit more present for you, in which case you could share it with me. I'm one of your co-creators, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, what do you think? And I said, I don't know. I need to look. I really need to take a look at it. There was only a very few number of things that could have changed my mind about it. There were 2 or 3 things. They weren't that I could have told you them before we left, but they were 3 things that said to me, yes, yes, yes. One of them was my imagination, the narrative in my head said that house is on a steep hill and there's all steep hill around it. There's no flat ground. Mm-hmm. And when we got there and got to the land, it actually is flat.
Yeah. It's about an acre of land that's completely flat. It's the top of the hill.
Yeah. It was fantastically flat, actually. Yeah. Surprisingly, shockingly flat.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's a lot more flat here than I thought. That helped me move past 1 block.
Yes.
And the second block was the inside of the house. From the outside, it looked like a dump.
Yes, definitely.
Fallen into the ground, rotten dump.
Yep.
With a bunch of trees growing out of the roof and moss. And I mean, it looked like Gaia's reclaiming it and doing a good job of it and quite happy with it as it is. Mm-hmm. And remember, the outside, the water, I could tell that the water system doesn't work because, well, the whole half of the house where the water was, the roof caved in and all of the stuff inside, all the water equipment,
was
completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And it hadn't looked like it worked in quite a while. And in front of the front door, literally in front of the front door, was a 600-gallon tank on top of a plywood box.
That was leaning towards
10 foot
the door.
above, 10 foot above the ground, a 600-gallon tank of water leaning like the Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, that was pretty scary going in and out of the house, actually.
Yeah, so I was thinking, if the outside's this bad, the inside's got to be terrible. But when I looked in the window, what did I see? It was nice in there.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but...
Well, for me, there were 3 things, That was the second thing. Mm-hmm. I looked inside, and the inside was actually nice. It wasn't like I remember the crazy house. Remember the crazy house had the windows broken. Yeah, there's water everywhere, bugs living, and bats and ants and everything else living. When I looked in this, it looked fine. It actually looked, it doesn't look like move-in ready. It well, actually, it did look like move-in ready. It looked like it had carpet.
Mm-hmm.
It had a clean floor. It had a wood stove. It had a sink. It had everything inside that you need to live in a house. Perfect. I was like, holy crap, the inside's fine. We probably don't even have to do anything to the inside. That's what in my head.
Okay, got it. That's a narrative in your head.
It didn't end up being exactly that. But it did, at the moment, pass the test of, hey, it's actually okay in there.
Yeah.
It's nice, actually. Actually, it's really cool. Look at those stairs. Yeah, so that was like that passed that sniff test, and it made me move the next step. And the next step, when I went around the front, I looked over, and what did I see? It's the hot tub, remember?
The hot tub, yeah.
And it was like, how could we not have seen that?
Right.
But lo and behold, here's a hot tub, an outside hot tub run by a wood-fired snorkel stove with cedar around the outside and a little deck around it. It was actually the only deck part that had been rebuilt and was in reasonably good shape. You could stop. You could walk on it. It wouldn't fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, honey, I'm with you on this. 100%. We can get it.
Yeah.
So the guidance you got, and I was closed off to it, but I was open enough to take a pause and say, okay, honey, I accept your judgment and your guidance. Let's take a look. I'll see if it aligns with me too. Well, we did, and it did.
It did.
And
it did.
A couple days later, it was ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the thing that I'm trying to get at, is there's this desire sometimes by many people that I encounter at least, to have and get that clear guidance. Like they believe that clear guidance is going to somehow or other make their path clear forward. What I'm trying to explain is that despite whatever the guidance that we get, including even us, doesn't necessarily do that. It does, and it doesn't. It does, but there's still things, right?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. It's like you get the guidance, it's very clear, you follow it, but if you have any narrative that's resistant to that result, it's not going to come through.
Yeah, you can block it.
You can block it, for sure.
You can block it. And you might think, oh, if I could only get some clear guidance, I'd just do that.
Right.
But that's not what happens.
No, that's not what happens. And a lot of the things, yeah, and of course, I'm going to, talk about the instant manifestation workshop again, because
I hope so, yeah, because that's kind of my point.
Excitingly enough, the next rendition of it is coming up. I think the doors close for it on March 19th. So get in there, get your place, be part of that co-creation, get your powerful allies all over the world to help with your instant manifestation. But yeah, part of that narrative and the things that we learn there is that you might be saying, for example, I want to manifest a beautiful wife, a high frequency, beautiful wife, and you've been saying it for 20 years, but you don't actually have a beautiful high frequency wife, right? So what we explore is, okay, where is that dissonance? Where's that thing that doesn't match between your clear guidance, your what you want, and what is real? What happens in reality?
Yeah, what are you actually manifesting?
What are you actually manifesting? So we put all those dots together in the workshop, and that's why it's called Instant Manifestation. And the graduates of this workshop and all the Instant Manifestation workshops will then be joining the Quantum Manifestation workshops that are coming in about a year or two. So you have plenty of time to get it, the work done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like there's a big difference between what we say we want and what we actually manifest and what we actually experience.
And a large part of what we actually manifest and experience are those invisible programs, those invisible narratives that we were born, raised, and brought up with for whatever reason, or grabbed or clumped onto, or think that's the true nature of reality, even to that level.
Yeah.
So exposing those for the moment, so it's almost like you're walking through life with your eyes barely squinted open, and then you take a thing like an instant manifestation workshop, and then you open your eyes for 30 seconds or so, take a really good look around, try and soak in all how, hey, this is more of what the real is, and this is more of how real is made. This is more about how real is brought to be. oh, I see. And then you close your eyes a little bit more again, and then you have your little squint still. You're still squinting a little bit because, you do have a lot of co-creators, right? And you did do a lot of work, but take 50 years or 30 years for you to create this instant manifestations that you have going right now.
Yes.
It takes more than a week or two or a month to eliminate it and completely restart everything from the get-go. Mm-hmm. But you definitely have legs up. Mm-hmm. And then with those legs up, you have the most valuable thing on the planet.
Good allies.
You have allies who've also taken these month or 2 months of opening their eyes, how reality works. Yeah. So they're who you co-create with.
Exactly. That's a big part of it. Your allies.
Massive.
Good allies, good counsel. Two massive keys in manifestation, right?
The house on the hill. I'd say your house on the hill, our house on the hill. Mm-hmm. You got the guidance and you followed it. Mm-hmm. I could have gotten the guidance just as easily and followed it, but I was closed off to it.
Yeah.
I was like, I like my life just like it is. Don't mess with it. We don't need to change a thing. Everything is perfect in my life.
Yeah.
And then you say, how about this is also perfect? And I was like, no, I don't want more perfect. I like this perfect. This perfect is perfect enough for me. I don't want no more perfect. Say, how about this pretty perfect over here though? No, I don't want no perfect. It's like, then there was a way that you got through to me. And I think it was Gaia. It's like, Gaia, hey, for some reason that usually works on me. How come?
Yes, I don't know. You have a very, very close relationship with the entity that is Gaia. Uh-huh. And in many timelines, you're one of her messengers and caretakers and, like the connection between Gaia and the human collective. Mm-hmm. So you do have a very powerful connection with Gaia. So sometimes when you're being stubborn, I will go to Gaia and say, hey, how can I get through to Larry about this, Mm-hmm. And she will give me some words. And I say those words to you, and you say, okay, I'll do it.
It's hilarious,
because you are connected, so it's true and real.
Yeah.
And it's not about giving your power away, but it's to do very closely related to the good allies.
It is, yeah. It's hilarious.
Because you know that Gaia has your back.
Yeah.
You know that she would never tell you to do something or follow through on something that's going to be harmful for you, her, or the human collective.
Or you, honey.
Or me.
Yeah.
So, to follow her advice. And, that's how it works, really. And when you tap into it, sometimes it's about breaking through that contrary energy, It says, okay, I will look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any decisions right now, but I will look at it.
I'll be open to looking.
Yeah.
I'll be open to a little bit more perfect.
Yes.
Like the floor.
Oh, the floor.
I am so impressed, and I can't believe how resistant I was to that, too. Like, so, just so everybody knows, we went to the house, and we got the house, and we looked at the house, and then the first thing that has to happen...
Pull all the
carpets out. And I like carpet, and Inelia does not like carpet, not one little tiny bit.
Nasty, horrible things.
We have a compromise about rugs, because apparently rugs are
you can throw them
awayable. But carpets are an absolute no.
Yeah, you can wash rugs as well.
So, first things first, pulled out all the rugs, carpets I mean, and then underneath the carpet in our house, up the hill, is made of tongue and groove, that's really rough cut on the top. Pine or I don't know what it's made out of. Might be pine. Might be, who knows what it is. Anyway, it's 2x4 woods. And on the
2x6.
On the underside of those 2x4 woods, it's perfect tongue and groove roof.
Yep.
On the upstairs side, where we took the rug off, it's kind of a bit rough. It's kind of like if you had a bunch of 2x4s laying next to each other with the knots and a little bit of sides of the things are cut out a little bit, and there's holes, and it's a bit rough. Like the top of a barn. Mm-hmm. You said we should just sand it and stain it and varnish it or whatever finish it. It'll be perfect. And I look at it like,
it'll be gorgeous.
I look at it like, gorgeous. Are you kidding me, honey? There's nails sticking up. There's knots. There's holes. There's divots. There's places where slivers come from. It's not gonna. That's not a good idea. We should put plastic floor on it.
Yeah.
Plastic floor would be perfect, honey. You know why I wanted plastic floor?
No.
Because we finally put plastic floor in the shaman shack. We went from plywood floor to plastic floor, and it was so much better. So now anything is plastic floor. Let's put plastic floor. Because the floor unfinished like it was reminded me of the shaman shack before plastic floor.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you said no. Let's try it. And I looked at it and I was like, well, why would I block it? Why would I say no? Let's just check it out. I mean, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, we can change it. We're not stuck.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's one of the big keys. One of the biggest keys to this whole manifestation.
And doing?
You can
always
change your mind.
Yes.
Shockingly, I know it. For me, I've been stuck sometimes for years not making a decision because I didn't want to choose wrong. Right? And then one day you come along and went, do, 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 do. I said, honey, I don't know what to do. I can't make up my mind. And he said, just pick one. It's like, well, what if I pick the wrong one? It's like, well then change your mind.
And you went plop.
Plop. Like, oh, okay. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Seems so simple, but it's some of the smallest little things that block us from our own guidance. At any rate, we went to Home Depot and they have this big thing, a sander machine with a giant piece of sandpaper goes on the bottom. Yeah. And I just brought that home and I sanded around for, I don't know, a few hours, days.
We've got a few friends to help us.
Got some friends to help us out.
Yeah, pull all the nails out.
Bang all the nails in good, pull the nails out. Yeah, make it, kind of a little bit more finishy.
Yeah.
And it came out smooth and soft.
You did.
And then we got some black, dark stain. And at first I was thinking, dark stain, are you kidding me? And then I remembered, zip it.
Just do it.
Just do it. So we got the stain and we were watching our show, some kind of a supernatural show with monsters and whatever. And in their mansion, the floor is dark stained wood rough. Exactly like our floor in the Hill House now.
And then we paid.
So, anyways, we put the stain on it and made it dark. Yeah. And then we got some natural, it's called Polyway.
Yep.
Polywhey, 3,000 and 330,500. Some natural sealer made out of wheat, I guess. I don't know what it's made out of, but it doesn't have any fumes and it's just water. Yeah. And we spread that all over the place. Well, we actually had our friends spread it all over the place. I kid you not. It is the masterpiece floor of the planet.
It's beautiful.
It is stunningly beautiful.
And elegant and gorgeous. And
gorgeous.
It doesn't have all fumes. And
no fumes. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I could just sit on that floor with no carpet, no rug, no nothing. Just sit in the middle of it and just
stare at it.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. So, hurrah to you, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Your guidance was clear.
Yep.
And I gotta say, hurrah to me.
For following it?
For just not objecting.
Yeah.
Which seems like a little thing, but it's not.
Yeah, well...
When it's a foundation part of your, hold your reel. And I think...
I noticed that when I said it, you kind of held yourself. And then you said, okay. And I thought, whoa. And then I said, but I don't know how to do it. And I said, I do, because I've done it in the past in England and Ireland. So we go to the Home Depot and rent what's called a drum sander or something. Can't remember the name of it, but it wasn't the drum one.
It was the.
I know, and I expressed what it looked like, and then we went there and we asked, "Is this the right one for this and the job?" And he said, "No, that's not the right one for the job
because it's bare wood already."
It's already been. He said, "Is it very, very rough, or has it been treated in the past?" And I said, "It's been treated in the past. It's actually got a little bit of stain on it, and it's sanded already." And then they put the carpet on top and all the nails and all the staples and stuff left it a little bit rough. And he says, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's not the right machine. This is it." And he gave us a different machine, which is the buffer or whatever's. And he says, "And these are the different sandpapers that you need." And he gave us 3 or 4 different grades and then sent us home with it. And you and Fred and Martha, Martha and I did all the pre-work, pulled up all the nails and all the staples and carpet and stuff. And then, the rest was all, the carpets were pulled by a whole bunch of friends of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Dan did it, and Fred, and Martha, and you. Pulling out carpets and stuff.
Yeah, well,
And then you saw how filthy that carpet was. I mean, I hope you saw it, because it was nasty. And under the carpet, the floor was rotten.
yeah.
We had to change the flooring downstairs. But yeah, so it was doable. It wasn't complicated. And then we paid somebody else to do the staining itself and then the finishing and stuff. But yeah. It really makes a difference when you follow through, and when you had, I noticed that a few of the times, when we went to the store, you said, okay, which one did you book? And I said, well, you told me not to book it because you wanted to whatever days, and you said, that's not what I said, which was a good thing because it was the wrong machine anyway that I thought we needed. So I didn't know the names of it.
Right.
And then we got the right one and everything was good. So, but I noticed, in a few times, and I would say, Larry, let's do XYZ. We send with the tiles downstairs.
Yep, tiles downstairs, the whole downstairs.
In tile. And you went, I said, but it's going to be really nice. And you went, okay. And I went, what? And you could see that you were struggling inside and stopping yourself from resisting.
Yeah.
And so far, it's starting to look good. We don't have the tile yet. And we did change our mind, the tiles. I wanted a dark tile downstairs as well. Dark floors, but you said you would get bored of the black floors, so you wanted a very light tile. So we're going to see what it looks like.
My thought with the floor was that it'll probably be stunningly cool, but it might be just too dark. And one thing about dark is that everything on it is lighter than it.
Yes,
so when it's dirty, it's really dirty fast.
Which is one of the reasons I like it.
Yeah, so you can see it when it's not
clean.
Yeah. And I kind of like what you call beige.
Yeah.
But I actually saw it as cream and gold, and there were some purple streaks and a bit of brown. It's looks like the clouds on a summer day without the blue. Or also known as beige.
Beige.
Yeah, anyway, I think that will hide dirt a lot better too.
That's what you're thinking, hiding the dirt.
No, what I was thinking when I looked at those, I looked at the whole wall full of them, and I looked at the dark ones, and I thought about how it would look. And then I looked at these ones, and of all of the ones on the walls, I kept coming to these ones, the tiles that we ended up picking, because I kept seeing the beautiful colors in it. It's like when you're looking at a rainbow, or you're looking at the ocean, the view of something, and you're just like, gosh, that's so pretty. Mm-hmm. That's what I kept on getting every time I looked at it.
Yeah.
A different something in the tile, so that's kind of why I picked it. And then I noticed it was about half the price too, and that made me smile.
Yes, it did. It's actually a third of the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway. I noticed that you were saying yes rather than saying no. You
moved more into allowance, I suppose. Gotta be careful with your mic, honey.
Sorry, honey.
Can't just flop it around.
It's your freaking devices.
Should put them on silent or on moon or whatever that is before you start. I thought they'd be alright because you shut off the internet.
No.
Oh well. So I guess one of the things that I think is key with this conversation is that there's a tendency among people, in the people that we're speaking to ask for and want clear guidance, and to think and feel like if I only had clear guidance, everything would go smooth. Mm-hmm. It's not true.
No.
The reason that things go smooth or don't go smooth has less to do with guidance and more to do with your internal state of, I think, comfort with change, or comfort with that pool of potential.
And also following the guidance.
well, clearly following the guidance is like, if only I had clear guidance, then I would know what to do and it'd be so easy. Okay, sell your car. I don't want to sell my car. I like my car.
Yeah.
Sell your car. I don't want to sell my car. I like my car just fine.
2 weeks later, the car breaks down and gets scrapped.
Yeah. I mean, that's a rough example, but just because you get some guidance doesn't mean it's easier.
Right.
But
about cars, though, remember when our truck...
yeah, Raven said,
Yes.
hey, sell me.
Raven said, sell me, I'm going to break down really quite severe. It's going to cost a lot of money, so it might be better for you to sell me now.
Yeah, I remember.
And you said no.
I said, Raven, no. Whatever it is,
We'll fix
it.
It's fine.
It took us a very long time to find a truck that we really liked.
Yes.
We found it, and whatever it is, we'll just fix it because it's going to cost less than a brand new truck anyways.
Right.
Plus, we like you, and we're comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And my butt fits into that chair exactly in the right spot. I might be resistant to change also.
Yes. So I said, okay, but I did warn you.
He did too.
2 weeks later.
It wasn't 2 weeks later.
Was it
I started the truck and let it warm up, and then I walked away and I walked back and I was like, honey, do you hear that noise? And he said, what noise? I was like, zzz. It sounded like a pump, some kind of a pump sucking air. I said, I think that's the transmission.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we went in and all of the transmissions for that year's Chevy all break at 100,000 miles exactly because they have aluminum in them and metal in them and whatever. When it turns, whatever, looses sloopy, and then that sloopy loosely makes grindings, and the grindings messes up the pump, and then the whole transmission breaks.
Okay.
Okay, then. Good to know. I wish I'd have known that earlier. It would have changed the oil.
But yeah.
Anyway.
What happened. So
anyway.
Sometimes you get guidance and you can choose to do something else instead.
Right. You could have chosen not to follow the guidance about the hill house, and our perfect life would have been perfect.
Yep.
But now our perfect life is expandedly perfect. Yeah. It's got a bit of expansion to perfect. Yeah.
So, if you've been struggling with something that you want in life, then it's usually one of three things. One of them is extreme wealth.
Yeah, always there's something like that.
Beautiful or harmonious relationship with somebody you already have, or maybe somebody you don't know yet.
Yeah, it's almost always then that's another one.
Yeah.
And sometimes that one, that comes with a lot of money.
Yeah.
That would be like ideal.
Yeah. And usually the third one, I was going to say health, but actually the third one is usually about your mission or your work.
Mission or work, always, yeah.
So those are the main three. And sometimes you do have the health one. I want to lose weight, or I want to put on weight, or I want to get fitter, or I want to not have cancer, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's a health one. Or I was born with a condition and I want that to change.
Yeah.
So it's usually those four areas, but mostly it's career, it is relationships, and it is money. And oftentimes, you may have already done a lot of manifestation work. And if you don't want to do the instant manifestation workshop, you can go to ineliabenz.com and buy the classes that are very, very, very affordable there. And there's three areas mainly: the relationship, manifesting, love, right? Yeah. And the wealth ones, and the career ones, and the guidance, right?
Yeah,
so
but it's so...
You can do those, and then you start looking at and seeing what's going on. But to tell you the truth, what you want is allies. And everybody that I know in Walk With Me Now and elsewhere, not everybody, but the majority of people are starting to see that the alliance and the good counsel are key. And again, if you don't want to do the instant manifestation workshop yet, or you feel that you need to work on your income before you can do it, then do the Walk With Me Now. It's way more affordable, and you have all the classes and courses right there that are included in the subscription. So there's no excuses really. And if you're in a situation where you're really messed up in life and you're like, I can't even afford $10 for something, then guess what? In ineliabenz.com, there's free tools.
They don't cost anything?
They don't cost anything. The person actually just can go there and get them.
Wow. Well,
Boom.
no excuses.
Yeah, no excuses.
You got clear guidance and you got a clear path, and no matter where you are in life
you're-
right now, you have
you have-
clear allies.
Yes.
And
if you
good
don't follow
counsel.
through, you're not going to change anything.
Which, in my case, seems fine to me. I like it just the way it is.
Well, you really got scared or you thought it wasn't going to happen when you did the Ascension 101 course.
Yeah, I was like,
and there's a warning sign: your life is never going to be the same again.
I was like, oh man.
You thought, no, not mine.
Not mine. Mine's pretty much perfect in every which way.
Yeah, I'm perfect.
It's a perfect life. I think a little bit better on some of these edges would be nice. Otherwise, everything's perfectly fine. And literally nothing is the same.
Nothing is the same now.
In a good way.
In a way positive way.
Love you, honey.
You've even said things like you even said things like, I didn't even know it was possible to be this happy and to be this satisfied and to achieve these things. I didn't even know it was possible to achieve these things. And the exploration of life and the world and everything makes it very interesting. And one of the things I would like to say before we finish this podcast is that, we will talk about the war, that's
fear knob,
and all other sorts of fear knobs that are happening on the planet on the second hour, the more involved hour.
The uncensored hour.
But I want to remind you that if you don't want to follow my guidance, and you give authority to other things, maybe give authority to the Hopi prophecies. And that one says, do not fall into fear. Okay? Do not fall into fear. If you fall into fear, you're screwed. Literally, it is an energy. So, process your fear. And guess what? The fear processing exercise, the full text on it is on my website, ineliabenz.com.
It's also free.
Use it. It's also free. Use it. So, do not fall into fear. If there is any guidance that you can follow through right now, just don't fall into fear. And it's not about denying or ignoring, but if you can read all this stuff that people are selling to you about the war and about this and who's the baddies and the two tribes go to war and what happens, the energies that happen, and all the jab things and all the other things and economy and oh my god, you're not going to have any money and all these type of things. If you want to listen to that without falling into fear, use the fear processing exercise on it. Yeah. And then listen to the things. You can be educated, you can listen to the narratives, but you can actually also create your own narrative and have your own life become something beautiful and wonderful, right? So follow through on that. Don't ignore it and don't fall into fear.
Yeah, don't wallow in it and then let it feed your spiral and frequency down into fear and despair and worry and
or righteousness
and anger and
all these things.
All those things. Those are light dark games.
They are, and they're going to win.
These are invitations to join a light dark game.
Yeah, and you're not going to win in those because you're not made of that matter.
Not made of that. No. Now's the time for your soul
to express. Yeah. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that, didn't we, before?
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll be getting into that in our second hour.
Yeah. The soul expression.
Soul expression
and why it's so important
detail.
For you to be fully incarnated, fully into your body, fully in on your body.
Yeah.
At this time. That's what you came here to do, not to be out of your body, but to be in your body. Trust your higher self decision to be in your body and fully come into your body and be present. The more you are in your body, the more powerful you are as an instant manifester. Period.
I feel complete. How about you, honey?
Yes, me too.
Love you.
Love you.